What's up YouTube, I'm Mike, and today I'm back with an update video on my fall cut. This is the first time that I have intentionally gone on a cut in, probably 3 years. I have basically been permablasting the vast majority of my later in life bodybuilding career. It's not a career, I don't know why I call it that, but you know, my bodybuilding journey, because I started at my starter weight when I started doing TRT and steroids was 140 pounds. 140 pounds in the morning with no visible abs at all. That is where I started. Over the course of the last 5 years, I grew from 140 pounds with no abs up to a high of 218 with 6 visible abs in a 4 to 5 year period. So a substantial amount of muscular tissue was put onto my frame in a relatively short period of time. We're talking about 78 pounds of tissue in 5 years. So for those of you who are wondering, do steroids work? Unequivocally, yes, they do. They do work very, very well. Because I'm usually in a perma-bulk state, because I was chasing the, I never thought I'd get over 200. That was my initial goal, was to get to 200. Then I got to 200. Then I want to get to 225. I've been as high as 218 and decided finally, after like 40 plus weeks of blasting, that it was time for me to try to clean up my midsection, and I decided to try to get to a body composition where I basically had visible abs just walking around, where I wouldn't even have to flex to see my abs. I have always had abs in a flex state, but if you saw some of those pictures on my Instagram that I was posting from the water park, it's like, yeah, I look jacked, but I just felt like it was time to clean up the midsection a little bit, especially considering fall in Texas is one of my favorite parts of the year. I spend a lot of time outdoors because it's fine, like just after the miserable summers, it starts getting nice again. And I often overseed my lawn with ryegrass in the fall, so I spend more time outside in the fall than pretty much any other time of the year, and that's when I like to look my best, when I'm out topless in the front yard. So I decided to go onto a cut, and I talked a lot of trash in the beginning. I've talked a lot of trash about people and their inability to stop shoveling food into their faces, struggling to lose weight. It's something I've never understood in my entire life, because the only way I was able to get to 218 pounds was by using MK677, which is a pretty potent appetite stimulant. So I started my cut about a month ago, and within the first 2 weeks, I was down 8 pounds. So I started I started cutting at 214 in the evening, 211 pounds in the morning, and within the first week or so, I was down to 206, 207 in the evenings, with a low weight of, I think, 205 in the morning. So about 8 pounds of body weight was lost in the first couple of weeks. This scared me a good deal because I felt like I'd accidentally gone into a crash diet. Obviously, when you go from bulking to cutting, it's very different than going from maintenance to cutting. I guess you could potentially argue that I did, in fact, go from maintenance to cutting because I was not gaining weight at a rapid pace, but my calories were up there around 3,800 plus calories per day. I was eating 600 grams of carbs. I had the big moon face that everybody kept talking about, video after video after video. Oh my God, Mike's face is so puffy, Mike's face is so fat. How you like me now? 1 month, look at the difference in my face. So I told you that it was not anything other than high estrogen and eating 600 grams of carbs per day. So I want to admit that this, like I said, has been more difficult than I expected. I've talked a lot of trash about people struggling to lose weight, and the first 8 pounds came off very easily, and but I started feeling terrible. My workouts started massively suffering. My energy levels around the house started massively suffering. I was just really not in a good place, and it kind of scared me, and so I kind of pumped the brakes on my cut after I lost the first 8 pounds and decided to kind of slow down the calorie deficit. And so I did that for about a week or so. I felt much better psychologically, much better physically, but then I started getting down on myself because I was afraid that I was going to quit. I started making all these excuses. Well, you know, my abs are pretty nice. Is it really possible to get to the shredded physique that I want without crashing my estrogen, without taking diuretics? Like I envision having like a torso that looked like Joe Aesthetics. Okay, I don't know how realistic that is for me at my age without employing any kind of I don't know exactly what all Joe or people who get into that level of leanness, I don't know exactly what is required. If it's just restricted calories, then we should be able to get there. But I want to be completely transparent in saying that I have been suffering for the past month with these calorie restrictions. So I know what I'm gonna say next is people are gonna be like, wow, you're a complete idiot. But the truth of the matter is that part of the reason I was suffering so badly is because I did not want to jump off the MK677, because if I had done that, I would have crash dieted in a major way. I have basically no appetite to speak of in the absence of MK677. So what I did over the course of the last month was I slowly titrated my dose down of MK677 from 25 milligrams a day all the way down to 0 milligrams a day. I am now completely off of the MK677. When I made 2 weeks ago, when my weight loss kind of flatlined and I started getting down on myself because I was starving all the time, I was really struggling not to eat, and I wasn't losing any weight, and it started to become frustrating. It's like, I'm suffering, I'm hungry all the time, I have no energy in the gym, and I'm not losing weight. Oh my God, what's going wrong? I'm panicking that I've talked all this trash online. It's really not as easy as everybody says. Oh my God, what if I'm wrong? It's not calories in, calories out. And then I realized, dude, you're still taking 10 milligrams per day of MK677 when 5 milligrams a day was all that was necessary for me to put on 10 pounds of extra body weight. I'm sure there was water and things going on. But when I first started MK677, I gained 10 pounds on 5 milligrams a day. And so I decided that the likelihood, that what was likely causing by this extreme starvation feeling was the ghrelin agonist still in my system. So I tapered completely off of the ghrelin agonist. Guess what happened? Weight loss just started coming off again. So this morning I woke up at my new all-time, well not all-time, but my new low for this cut. I don't even want to say the number because I hate this number. This morning I woke up at 199.2. It is the first time that I have been under 200 pounds, minus when I went to the hospital, in a very, very long period of time now, almost like a year. I never really honestly want to be under 200 pounds again for the rest of my life. For the purposes of this cut, I'm going to allow it temporarily just to see how lean my body can get. I posted a video to my Instagram today that showed me first thing in the morning, showing my abs, pinching skin folds to show how little fat is still in my torso. And I'm kind of at a crossroads where I feel like I may be too old to get the vacuum sealed look that I really want. I'm getting concerned that if I keep losing weight, that like I'm gonna look better, but I'm honestly a little bit afraid that I'm gonna have loose looking skin, which in my estimation is not better than, if that's what happens, I will definitely put the weight right back on. Right now, at 199.2 in the morning, I am very, very peeled. I'm down from I'm down an entire pant size plus some. My 32-inch waist jeans fit perfectly well now, so I've clearly lost a little size in my glutes and in my abs, but it's really coming off along my midsection. If you look in the video on Instagram, you can see one of the things that I'm very, very fortunate in, and one of the ways that I can dirty bulk without really looking like I'm dirty bulking, is that I carry little to no body fat on my entire upper body or the front side of my torso. So when I start putting, the vast majority of this, what are we at now? 14, 15 pounds of total, well no, we have to go from 11. About 12 pounds of total body weight that I've lost this month. the vast majority of that body weight has come from my love handles and my lower back. That is where, when I start spilling over, when I start dirty bulking and I start gaining an excess amount of body fat, it deposits around my lower back and my love handles. So I lose some of my V-taper, and I lose some of that nice carved in look in the back. And so then my ass plumps up, and I just get that little bit of a sort of semi-donut around my midsection. But generally, it does not deposit upon my abs unless I get way up like 15, over like 15% body fat. Usually when I keep it down around 10 to 12% body fat, I do not have weight deposited on my abs. So I could be, like when I was 218, I still had 6 very visible abs. So one of the things that's frustrating about that, so like from a growth perspective, that's really great. I can build up a lot of mass and still look very athletic in my midsection. The downside to that, though, is that when you go on a cut and you have 6 very visible abs and you lose 12 pounds and your abs are only like minorly more apparent, that's very discouraging. So like I'm having to focus on like feeling my love handles, feeling my lower back, measuring my waist, measuring my glutes. So I know the weight is coming off. It's just that it's not coming off as fast where I really want it. What I want is those really sharp, diced looking abs. And it appears that that's going to be possibly the last weight that comes off my frame. That is going to be the make or break, deal with this cut, because I am already fed up with it. I kind of panicked a little bit this morning at 199.2, and I think I'm gonna pause the cut again. So like I cut for 2 weeks, dropped 8 pounds, stabilized at 206 in the morning. Then I went back to really cutting calories, dropped another 6 pounds. Now I'm down to 199.2. And I think I'm gonna go back to maintenance, stop the suffering, see if maybe we can get a little recomp, see if a little bit more body fat will burn off without just, I just feel like I'm losing everything. But the reality is, if you look at that video, I'm measuring my biceps, and I had my wife measure my shoulders and my chest. I am not losing size in my upper body. Somehow on this no testosterone cycle, I have been able to be in a caloric deficit deep enough to lose 12 pounds in a month of clearly fat tissue and possibly some body water, and still stay very, very, very pumped and full. There are certainly days when my pecs look flat relative to when I was completely bloated, but that is to be expected. The overwhelming majority of my musculature is still very pumped and full looking, and that is obviously the ideal circumstance to be in when you're cutting. So I do want to just say that I have a higher level of respect for people who have to do this long term. It is definitely no fun. It definitely negatively affects my workouts. It has negatively affected me psychologically. Just in general, I'm dealing with a lot of hanger, a lot of irritation, depression. It's just really not been a fun experience. And I'm really looking toward this week when I'm going to try to eat a little bit more. The problem is like today, it's 5:15 in the afternoon, and all I've had to eat today is 1 Muscle Milk, 1 Monster Energy drink, and then like half of my lunch. My lunch was 4 ounces of steak and 1 serving of white rice, and I've only managed to get half of that down. I am now down to at least 2,000 calories a day. I got blood work that I was hoping to be sharing with you guys. I'm going to do that in another video talking about my no testosterone cut. The estrogen, per usual, is taking forever to come back. But I will tell you that I did a comprehensive metabolic panel, and I have a couple of metrics that are out of line. And when you look up these metrics, primarily they're carbon dioxide. I have a low bun to creatinine ratio, and my albumin is low. These are all factors that could be connected to malnutrition. Now, because you're comparing LabCorp versus Quest, and some of these numbers are only down like 0.1, I don't want to just jump to that conclusion, but I have felt like absolute garbage. And because I prioritize drinking sugary drinks, in order to be able to stay in a deficit while drinking Country Time lemonade and Dr. Peppers, I have had to, some days, Country Time lemonade and Dr. Pepper make up, 70+% of my carbohydrates. So it's very possible that I'm in a micronutrient deficiency. I have not been drinking my muscle milks the way I used to. This was a massive oversight on my part. The protein water that I've been getting from Walmart does not have anywhere near the micronutrient profile that the muscle milk does. The muscle milk is full of vitamins and minerals that I have absolutely been missing out on. So that could also explain everything from mood changes. I've been having chronic muscle cramps. Like adult activity has been a veritable landmine. I am having quad cramps in the middle or sometimes before adult activity on 3 different occasions immediately following or at the very end of adult activity. I have had one of my 6 individual ab muscles just knot up in a massive way. My wife, it happened last night, and my wife was like, oh my God, she was rubbing it with her hand. And it just distorts the way your body, it's just nasty. I've got to tell you, ab cramps are one of the most painful things I have ever experienced. It just completely incapacitates you. I've had forearm cramps from certain behaviors. I've had all kinds of cramping going on. But there's been some other factors with my hormone profile. Obviously, I'm taking injectable estradiol now. I have not gotten that dialed in. That could be a causal factor. So stay tuned I'm going to go over all the blood work in detail when I finally get my estrogen level back and I make the video update on my no testosterone cycle. But I just wanted to come on here real quickly and say that everything that I told you in the beginning about the way I was going to cut has produced now in 1 month a 12-pound body fat loss. Eating all of the same things that I used to eat before in smaller quantities. During this month, I have had Breyer's chocolate ice cream. I have had tons of Dr. Pepper's, sodas, fast food, Jimmy Dean's sausage bowls. I can't count the number of Twizzlers I've eaten. Nothing about my diet has changed. The only thing that I changed in my entire diet going from full-on bulk to full-on cut is the portion sizes have gotten substantially smaller. So where normally I would eat like 5 ounces of chicken and like 2.5 servings of pasta salad, now I'm getting 4 ounces of chicken, 5 ounces of chicken, and 1 serving of pasta salad. So I'm still eating chicken and pasta salad. It's just that there's this tiny little amount of pasta relative to the entire bowl of pasta that I used to be eating before. When I eat ice cream, I get a tiny little bit instead of a heaping bowl of ice cream. I'm not drinking 2 liters of Dr. Pepper anymore. I might have 1 or 2 Dr. Peppers and maybe 3 Country Time lemonades. And that's what's getting me through the day. Those Country Time lemonades are, 16 ounces each. But so I've been very hydrated, and the cut is going as expected. I've just felt far worse than I expected to feel, and I think that is due to the MK677 making me feel constantly starving. Once I've gotten off the MK677, I'm almost never experiencing starvation, and so even on my cut, like today, I'm trying to get back to maintenance and I'm struggling to even eat the allotted food that I have. So I may actually have to go back on the MK677 in the middle of my cut to prevent myself from crash dieting into oblivion because I just cannot get the calories into my face in the absence of some kind of appetite stimulant. I'm right now today, I'm not even at 1,000 calories, and like I said, it's going on 530. So there you have it. That is where we're at with the cut. It does work, guys. Calories in, calories out. You can eat whatever you want. You do not need keto. You do not need some special diet. You can eat all the same things you were eating before, and you can lose 12 pounds of body fat in 1 month. I just did it. Will you feel good? No, it sucks. I'm ready to go back to bulking or at a minimum maintenance right now, but I've got some good momentum, so we're just gonna see where it goes. And as things change, I will update you, as always. So there you have it. As always, thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.